Joining us tonight, the Attorney General of the great state of Texas, Greg Abbott. Mr. Attorney General, great to have you with us. This is striking.
Great to be back.
That the United Nations General Assembly passes this. It's going to move to the U.S. Senate for ratification. We've seen already a preliminary vote that says they will turn it down. You are obviously concerned. Why?
Right, because, Lou, all these stories that you've been talking about in the beginning of your show tonight actually fit together as pieces of a puzzle. Remember that in September, right before the election, the president came out and said that he would work with Congress to pass his agenda, but if they failed to work with him, he would work around them. Before the election, the president did not come out and strongly support this UN treaty. The day after his election, the president came out and began pushing this treaty. Then remember last week, Joe Biden said that the arms regulation being proposed by Senator Feinstein is just happening. So put all these pieces together, and here's what you see, and that is the president and his administration are trying to achieve through the United Nations what the president may not be able to achieve through regulation through Congress. So my fear and concern is the president's going to be able to accept defeat of arms regulation in the U.S. Senate, but arm twist the senators to ratify this treaty. If they do, I'm loaded for a double-barrel lawsuit aimed right at this treaty.
And the ratification of such a treaty would simply, it would abrogate Second Amendment rights for all American citizens, and it would do so, as you say, through the United Nations, an institution that many people think should be dissolved rather than have sway over the lives of American citizens.
Lou, it's bad enough if our own federal government is trying to strip away our Second Amendment rights. It gets even worse if we have the United Nations and giving them authority to undermine our Second Amendment rights. But, Lou, that's why our potential lawsuit is so incredibly important. And that's because we believe that treaties do not trump the Constitution. And so I will wage this lawsuit if the treaty passes, which it has now passed, if the president signs it into effect, and if the U.S. Senate ratifies it, we have to file a lawsuit to make sure that it does not go into effect. Otherwise, we will lose more than our Second Amendment rights. We will also lose the authority this country has had for its own independence and be giving that to the United Nations.
388 sheriffs, across the country have vowed to uphold the Constitution and to defend Second Amendment rights against gun control measures from President Obama, the federal government. What is your posture should something be undertaken by this president by executive order that would contravene, in your judgment, the Second Amendment?
Right. Well, an executive order is not going to be accepted in contravention of the Second Amendment. And, of course, if the executive were to issue an order that I consider to be in violation of the Second Amendment, I would be bringing in legal action to shut it down. Point one. Point two, and that is right behind me is the capital of the state of Texas. As I sit here tonight, legislators in the Capitol are considering legislation that will bar any executive order by the president from having any effect in the state of Texas if it violates the Second Amendment. So Texas is prepared to be fighting back against the Obama administration.
Kaufman County. We've now seen a prosecutor withdraw from the case, citing reasons of security. The Aryan Brotherhood prosecution. Two of your district attorney and one of his leading prosecutors and his wife murdered. What can you tell us about what is going on in the state? There are initial reports it was the Aryan Brotherhood. Now we're hearing that it may be the work of drug cartels. Give us what you can. I know it's extraordinarily sensitive for everyone in the state of Texas and in law enforcement and government there, but it's important that we understand it.
Several key points, Lou. First and foremost, obviously our sympathies go out to the family of the district attorney and his wife, as well as the assistant district attorney who lost their lives. And those lives cannot be replaced, but they must not be forgotten. And so it's the responsibility of law enforcement in Texas, working in collaboration with federal authorities and local authorities to ensure that justice is achieved here and that the wrongdoers who did this will be apprehended and prosecuted. Beyond that, Lou, you may have heard that there was an arrest made earlier today of someone who had come out and made a threat about killing someone else. And so we're having to deal with a multitude of these issues all at once. The investigation is ongoing, and we hope it will lead to some meaningful leads here pretty soon.
All right. Attorney General Greg Abbott, we thank you very much for being with us. Good to talk with you as always. And
you too, Lou.
of course,
thanks.
we join you in our in the expression of sympathies for the families of all of those who have been killed, and the desire for a speedy resolution of the